Hello, I'm Jonathan.
I'm Amanda.
We're Corbu, and this is
Bad Trip Reports.
We're going to read to you some experiences that people have written about on the internet from taking certain substances, some of them illegal, some of them legal. You'll be very surprised that some of the legal ones, some of the things you probably have in your medicine cabinet, are some of the weirdest of all of them. And sometimes they turn out well, sometimes they turn out not so well. So we're going to read you these stories in the writer's own words and see where it takes us.
Or it's your bedtime story, whatever you want.
It's your bedtime story.
Is salvia legal?
Salvia exists in some kind of salvia used to be legal. It exists in some kind of legal gray area. I don't know what schedule it's on. I think it's become illegal over time as people found out about it. I feel like it got popularized when Miley Cyrus did it. And there was video of Miley Cyrus. She did. You can see it in her face. She smokes it in a circle of her friends and she's like,
Are you sure it wasn't just weed?
That's what everybody thinks the first time they do it. Because that's how it's presented. They're like, oh yeah, this is legal weed. And it's actually the most horrifying psychedelic that exists. That's what happened
I feel like they said it was salvia because salvia is legal and they covered up that she was smoking weed.
I don't know. I feel like salvia is a lot weirder.
Well, yeah, but I don't know if that's actually...
She looked like she was on salvia.
Until we can speak with Miley about it,
someday.
We'll never know.
Let's take a look at our salvia story. It's called
5-day prison outside of time.
So, a guy and his friend take acid. I'm skipping the first part of his story because it's a lot of exposition. A guy and his friend take acid. Not much happens, so they decide to smoke some salvia.
On acid?
On acid. The acid was not good enough.
Acid.
They were on acid, and it was
Right. They think they were on acid.
Right.
Could have been anything.
Could have been not acid, but it was very chill, apparently. And his friend's name is A, so he refers to his friend goes by A in this story. So they smoke salvia, and this is what happens. This is where I pick up his story. We wait, but nothing really... So he's talking about his friend right now. We wait, but nothing really happens to him. So we smoke 2 more bowls of the leaf. Enter the insatiable giggling I've seen happen before on salvia. We both thought our visuals became more colorful, but still nothing. I decided to wait a little bit longer. Then suddenly the mood of the room changed. It's hard to describe. The only way I can explain it is that salvia came into the room and was there with us. Not like a drug, but like an actual person, disembodied and pervasive. I mentioned this to my friend, who thought it was cool. He still didn't feel anything remotely like his last trips. I wait some more, and then the presence begins to subside. Not wanting to waste my shot, I packed a bowl of 10x salvia and took it all in one hit. As I exhale, I woke up in an unfamiliar reality. It happened so fast, I don't know what to think. Titanic tidal forces were stretching my body in all directions. I felt like everything was being smeared all over everything. Everything I saw had become intensely colored, and not your regular, dude, I'm tripping, so many colors kind, but I'm about to go insane kind. The colors were so brilliant that nothing in the room seemed solid, but rather like it was a hyperliquid. In this hyperliquid state, everything bled into everything else. I felt like my body was being pulled onto the floor and dissolving into the air around me. This was disturbing. Only a few seconds into the trip, it intensified to a crazy level. Now, everything had such an awesome gravity. It's like A's living room had just fallen through an event horizon, and everything had taken on such incredible mass. I felt like I was being crushed from the immense forces emanating from everything, almost as if I was in the presence of some immense being. Light became very strange to perceive. It was like I was moving just a tiny bit slower than it, so time had almost come to a standstill. To this day, I think I understand Einstein's ideas about space-time better, for in this state, space and time melted into this organic, breathing thing, and I could feel out events happening anywhere in the universe. It was like every event sent out a pulse, and because of the hyperliquid nature of reality, these pulses were instantaneously transferred into everything else, all across existence. I looked at my friend in terror. All he said was, "What?" repeatedly, with a smile. But to me, it seemed like he was confirming that this was indeed reality. I thought that him and all of my friends and family existed on this level and had forever, while I had been stuck in the 3D world of delusion all my life and had just now realized what everyone else had already experienced. I've heard of Salvia having this unique effect on others before. It truly felt like I had woke up and realized every event and detail of my life was a complete lie. This terrified me, I can't deny. That is a common thing on Salvia. I've felt that before.
I've never done it, never will.
Yeah. I'll probably do it again. Anyway,
Not for me.
It's a fucking horror movie, but a fun one. But just be prepared for this to happen. Anyway, suddenly, a pocket in reality opened up, and my awareness divided between the me experiencing all this stuff in A's living room and the me that was stuck in this immense geometric chamber shaped like a triangle. It was so immense that I realized I was in fact in a room of infinite proportions. Imagine eternity turning into a room. That's where I was. The walls were full of repeating, spiraling patterns. The strangest thing about this chamber was that it seemed to have more than 3 dimensions, though I don't really know if this can actually be true. Everything appeared to be 5-dimensional. This is where I really start to panic, as the alien geometry really upset me. I felt the most intense fear, a desire to escape this triangle chamber that I was now interpreting as a prison. The problem was, this chamber didn't exist anywhere in space-time. It was beyond both. I remember calling out desperately to the me still in the living room, but my voice couldn't carry across the infinitesimal yet gaping chasm between us. I seriously believed that I'd never leave this place, that I was trapped here forever. I could barely remember who I was, let alone who that kid back on Earth was. I was certain that I had lost not only my mind, but my soul, lost forever in this bizarre reality. Then I started to focus on the me inside the chamber instead of trying to get back to my body still on Earth. I proceeded to experience the most intense feeling of knowledge as I realized that this chamber was really the intersection of countless parallel realities, and this person inside the chamber was the intersection of all the parallel selves I had in all the parallel worlds I existed in. I had, in an instant, become a conglomerate of parallel minds, all perceiving as one. At this point, I realized that there is something I, or we, which one should I use, have to do. Something so imperative that if I don't do it, we'd be trapped here forever and could never achieve what was next. Whatever that is, I wonder. Tormented by the idea, we tried to navigate this chamber, but soon realized that the chamber is infinite, so there's no progress that could be made. Despite that, we ran, and as we ran, the swirling 5-dimensional patterns on the floor got bigger and bigger, yet at the same time, always infinite, until it absorbed us. As we were absorbed, we realized that the purpose of us being together as one in the chamber, we realized what it was, and just as suddenly, I lost that clarity. I become aware that I'm in my body again, and the strange pocket closed up and disappeared. I'm back in the hyperliquid of space-time, but this time reality is moving as if huge waves were undulating through it. I think this had to do with the music that was playing at the time. I could hear the music, but it was just as much a part of the hyperliquid as it was music. Anyway, as these waves passed through reality, I realized that even bigger waves were coming from somewhere much deeper in reality. Now I really panicked as I realized that an alien intelligence was sending its consciousness through the hyperliquid plane in the form of waves, but the intelligence itself was much, much deeper inside that reality, far deeper than I was. There was a sinister feeling to the being, though I think this was mainly my ego freaking out. Who knows what the intentions of this being were, because I never directly experienced it. I was simply aware of its emanations through space-time. As the waves pushed through the liquid would condense even more where the waves were, to the point that I saw these bands of the living room become so dense I later described them as being as dense as neutron stars. Then the waves hit me, and as they went through me, I felt my being become infinitely dense, like they were. I thought I was being crushed into a singularity, or dying, or both. Suddenly, A's room disappears yet again, and all I'm aware of is an infinite darkness and the wave dragging through me. As it drags, it pulls my body into a string without a beginning or an end. I exist for I don't know how long as this infinite string when I become aware that there are other strings next to me. I'm a fucking guitar at this point. An infinite guitar at that. Somehow the dimensions were set so I knew I was a string and it was a guitar, but everything was infinite, so how could there be any dimension? Anyway, I'm still panicking and trying to resist whatever is happening. Suddenly, something strikes the string and a chord rings out into the void. I realize that I am the hand, the guitar, the strings, and the sound ringing, but my conscious self is localized on one string, and the string is full of fear and won't vibrate in harmony with the others, resulting in a discordant harmony. The entire time, I know I have to relax and just let it happen. I wish I did. Who knows what could have happened? I would have had it not been for the sinister feeling I had, like if I relaxed and just let the chord play, I'd lose my soul and my free will. Very strange thoughts. Who knows what would have happened if I'd let go? I'm kind of glad I didn't, though there's another part of me that's disappointed. Did I miss the chance to really learn something? Perhaps something should not be known by a human. I should also mention that throughout this part of the trip, I was aware of many thoughts and impressions, as if I was working out deep inner issues. Of course, I can't remember those, which mildly frustrates me. Regardless of what would have happened, I leave this place after another eternity, and I'm back in the hyperliquid, but this time it's less liquid or hyper and more like the living room. A few more seconds, and I stumble back into reality, confused as hell. I get up and I look around, wild-eyed and sweating profusely. A is still saying, "What?" and laughing. My heart was beating really fast. For a second, I thought it would be a problem, but I just lay down for a bit and came under control. For 30 minutes, I could only say, "Holy shit, what the fuck, oh my god." I'm finally able to speak English somewhat fluently and ask A what happened. He says I just zoned out for 2 or 3 minutes and looked scared the entire time, grabbing my sides and looking to the side a lot, which of course, I don't remember at all. 2 or 3 minutes. I couldn't believe him, but he insisted. How long it took, I don't know. If there's ever a next time, I'll be sure to bring some kind of timer. In the end, I can't really say it was a bad trip at all. Had I been prepared, this could have been something more productive, and I might have been able to go with it more. It caught me totally by surprise, which is what I think contributed to the fear. Who knows what would have happened if I'd let go? It could be a mystery for the rest of my life. And that's Salvia.
With acid, though.
With acid, but yeah. Salvia and acid together, because acid's just not enough.
Yeah, but he was cool, and he, clearly is a true psychonaut. A little more, what's the word? Experienced. They really are, exploring the subconscious.
Yeah.
I feel like it's not as dangerous as space.
Oh, it's not as nearly as dangerous. Space is fucking very dangerous. Spaces. This stuff is physically harmless.
You have to get on a spaceship right now, or you have to take Salvia right now. I would probably pick Salvia.
Yeah.
I'd be sad, but I would do that.
Yeah.
I'm also, a Virgo. I like to be grounded.
I don't think Salvia is very grounding.
Yeah, but I'd get through it.
Yeah, you would. You would. And you wouldn't get bombarded by radiation.
That we know of.
Anyway, next. We're going to go to the world of Datura. Datura, as far as I know, is, it's a weird one. It's a plant that supposedly witches used to use in Salem era, go into the woods and boil some stuff in a pot and hallucinate traveling on brooms. And I don't know if any of that's true, but it fits the stories, so I don't know. Anyway, Datura. This story is called
World of Pain.
The narrator starts, "Well, where should I start? I'm going to try to make this as easy to follow as possible. I hope I can actually do that because I can barely follow it myself. I recall my friend David telling me about Angel's Trumpet and how cool it was. but I guess he left out all the bad stuff that he saw. I had come across the plant itself many times, not knowing what it actually was. I had attained a large quantity, about 90 Datura stramonium seeds, from a friend. Yeah, stramonium. I read a few hundred articles about it in various places on the internet. I read that Datura contains both atropine and scopolamine that interface directly with the central nervous system, so I know that this is going to be very hard to control and I could have prolonged side effects. I came to the conclusion to do a very small amount. Now to the story. It was a Friday night. I was bored, nothing to do, so I figured it was about time to take the seeds I bought nearly a month ago. I wanted to do it when I had a long period of time to recover. So I took a deep breath and poured 35 seeds into my mouth and chewed them for about 2 seconds. I gagged and quickly swallowed them and chased them with water. About 5 minutes later, I remember that the experience should take about 30 minutes to 3 hours to start. So I start playing Half-Life, and at the part where you start meeting Marines is where I start to feel a little weird. I take a look around and I feel my legs starting to get numb. I figured I'd have to stand up for a bit. Well, that didn't work. I just fell over. I remember people saying that they get all drunk feeling on this substance, so I disregarded the feeling and got back on my computer. I feel a lot weirder now at the computer than I did on the floor. I don't know how long I was there, but all I know is that I'm in a different state of mind now. I look back at my monitor and I try to move the mouse, but it's gone. After some time trying to find it, I give up and I just use my keyboard. All I wanted to do is play some music, so after like 60 Control-Alt-Deletes, I come to the conclusion that my computer's frozen, so I restart. Nothing happened. I do it again and again, and finally it starts. I'm not sure if this was just the Datura or my computer was messed up. Anyway, the computer started, and I forgot my password, and I'm so mad, all I want to do is play some music. So I punch the keyboard. It works, but the sink starts to spray water all over the place. I'm a bit confused, and I go to turn off the sink. As soon as I hit the tile, it turns off. What do you think he means by as soon as I hit the tile?
I have no idea.
Like, is he like pounding? Like,
I don't know. Keep going.
Okay, all right. As soon as I hit the tile, it turns off. I do a little dance back and forth from the carpet to the tile, turning the water on and off. It was so funny to me. But then it doesn't stop. The water is going everywhere and I can't stop it. I try to turn it off by hitting my keyboard, but nothing happens. I decide it's best to just leave before I drown. So I go to my room and I shut the door. But this time my mouse is back, and I put on Tool's Enema, go lay down because I really want to get off the carpet for some reason. I lay down and my pillow is getting me angry. It keeps blocking the music, so I try to get rid of it by putting it in my closet, and I go back to lying down, trying to figure out what music is playing. I get up to check the song on the playlist, but the mouse is gone again, and I decide that it's Jason's fault.
Who's Jason?
Well, Jason is a friend that lives in Texas, and I have to find him to get my mouse to come back. So I asked my roommate for $16 to fly to Texas. He told me that I wouldn't stop asking him for the money. He explained that a plane ticket to Texas would cost like $400, and I told him, "No, I have a guy who stole a plane. He's waiting outside for me. All he wants is $16 and a pack of cigarettes, and he'll fly me to Texas." Well, I don't remember when or how I get back into my room, but I did, and I couldn't get out. My roommate probably locked me in. I look around and I have these crazy twisty posters. I pull them off the wall and I throw one of them, and now I'm outside. I see the plane just about to take off. Then I just sit down on a bench and another plane lands. And then there's Jason with my mouse in his hand, and I'm so happy. But when I go up to him, he gets very mad at me because he had to pay the guy $16, and he smashes my mouse and kicks me in the knee, and I fall down again. I look back up and I'm in my room again. And at this point, I'm very scared because for a second, everything's the same, and my arms are stuck inside my shirt, and I need to get them out to stop the walls from getting any closer. I rip off my shirt and I throw it, and I'm leaning on the wall and trying to get the wall to stop it from crushing me and everything else in my room like a garbage compactor. Well, I wasn't strong enough, and I was crushed. I appear in my old house in Tampa, and my friend that died like 2 years ago is there, and I'm a ghost, and we talk for a while, and he's really mad at me. He says that I killed him, but I didn't, and he casts me to hell. This is where it gets bad. I'm in a room where the corners of the room are flashing bright red, and every time they flash, it hurts a lot. I cover my eyes, but nothing I can do stops the light. I can see it in the same spot no matter what I do, eyes open or closed. And my friend's parents are there, and they're yelling at me and crying, saying that I killed their son. They're hitting me with those glow wands from Demolition Man.
I don't know what that is.
Demolition Man is a movie with, I'm pretty sure it's the movie with Stallone and Schwarzenegger. It's the one where they wipe their butts with the little seashells in the future.
Never saw it.
It's the best part of the movie is that in the future, first of all restaurants have been replaced by Taco Bell.
Okay.
And no one wipes their butts with toilet paper anymore. They have these little seashells, and they're mysteries. And the people from the past are like, what's with the seashells? And everyone just laughs at them, and it's never explained. Best part of the movie. Anyway.
All right.
Favorite Stallone movie. It's not Schwarzenegger, it's Wesley Snipes, from what I remember. Anyway, so the guys, his friend's parents are hitting them, saying, you killed our son, and they're hitting them with glow wands. He says, then I look up and they're gone, but my friend's there, and he gives me a cigarette. I take it only to keep him happy with me, and I light it up. It burns my lungs, but I keep smoking it to keep him happy, despite the terrible pain that comes with every drag. After about 60 or so cigarettes, 60 cigarettes, I tell him I don't want any more, and then he kicks me. I fly back from my poster onto my bed, and I look around. Everything's back, and I'm in my room, and that scares the hell out of me. So I get under my bed, and I try to hide by putting everything I can around the edges of the bed. But everything is so incredibly heavy, I can only lift small objects like CDs and pens. So I decide to hide in my closet. So I get in there, and my pillow's there, but I don't want it to stop the sounds of someone coming in the room, because the pillow stops sounds, remember? So I don't want it to stop the sound of someone coming in my room. So I get rid of the pillow by putting it in my dresser. But the dresser won't stay closed, and this makes me very pissed off. So I kick the shit out of the dresser, but I'm very weak, and anything I do is like in slow motion, and I can't seem to get it closed. So I just wrap the pillow in my blankets and throw it out the window. Except then I can't close the window. So I go back into my closet, and I see like 80 copies of myself, and it's so crowded in there I can't breathe because of all the copies of myself, so I pass out. I keep hearing a sweeping noise outside of the room I'm in. I'm in one of those portable classrooms they have in overcrowded schools, and I know that whatever that sweeping noise is, they're going to get in somehow and get me. So I try to hide, but it's just a room. There's nowhere to go. And I hear all these banging noises like it's trying to break the door down. This feels like Twin Peaks. I hear all these banging noises like it's trying to break the door down. So I get a desk and I throw it at the wall. It opens up a hole in the wall, and it's very bright outside. I get the courage to go out there, but then nothing's there. So I get my welding glasses out and I put them on. I can see clearly now through my welding glasses, and there is a big tornado outside. I go back inside, and it hits the building and kills everyone in the area. I'm all alone. There are bodies everywhere. Then I see my house, and I'm like, oh, my brother was home. And I start to like rip the debris apart. And then I'm like fucking Superman. I'm throwing huge pieces of the broken house with ease. But the house was made of puzzle pieces, and I can't get them to stack up. They kept falling back over onto the piles. I try for days, but everything I do causes more damage, and the pieces keep getting smaller and smaller until it's like a big multicolored pile of sand. And it's like the future, and everything is advanced and developed, except this small section of land where my house of sand is. And then I'm in a glass ball. There are like aliens looking at me through the glass and shaking it around like a snow globe. One of the alien kids turns it over, and the house of sand falls on top of me, and I suffocate. I wake up to my roommate yelling at me, asking me why am I in his closet, and why did I throw his pillow out the window. I try to tell him that the pillow is going to stop the sound, but he can't understand. So he explains to me that I must be high, and he thinks I'm on acid. I tell him acid is not good for him, and that he should try something that I have. I hand him an empty bottle labeled Datura, and then it all hits me. It was just a very bad trip. So I call my parents, and they're a little confused as to why I'm asking if they're okay. So I hang up and I go take a shower, trying to get back to normal. It took about 6 to 8 weeks before I could actually see straight and sleep regularly and not expect to be killed at any moment.
These are hard to understand because you're like, what is real and what is not?
Are they hard to understand?
Yeah, but like, what if some of that was actually real?
Well, I mean, I think they're dreams.
Yeah, but she.
He. So far, these have all been male protagonists.
They threw the pillow out the window and
that
actually
happened.
was in a closet. So I don't know.
That's true.
Like, what was the water?
This was the first one. This was the first one where you could see him like working through stuff. Like you could see like real issues coming up, and like, I don't know, the thing with his brother and like his dead friend, and his parents saying you killed him, and like, not that he killed his friend, but like there's guilt in there, and the thing about the house, and like he just can't keep it together, you know?
Yeah, it's wild.
I don't know. It feels like a dream to me, but like a telescopic dream inside a dream kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like we started this because I always would ask him to tell me stories. And I would just be like laying on the couch, like half asleep, and I'd be like, tell me a story, tell me a story. And he was like, oh, actually, yeah, okay, I could tell you a story.
I could tell you a story. So I go to arrowwood.org.
And pull up some bad trip reports.
By the way, most of these are sourced from arrowwood.org. It's a wonderful resource. It's not just this. It includes this, but it's not just this. But it's
the Bible of drugs.
The Bible of all substances, and you know, it doesn't recommend anything, but anything you could ever imagine taking, including Benadryl, is in there with safety information about it, so you can, you know, prevent harm and also know. And there are good trip reports, but we have fun with the bad trip reports.
Well, I think they're more they learn more from them usually.
You usually learn more from bad trips than good trips.
Yeah. Which is important.
Because good trips are usually just like, hey, you're fine.
Yeah, someday I'll
enjoy your life.
Someday I'll write down my bad trip and you can read it.
Yeah, same. You can read mine.
What was yours?
Which one? Anyway, bad trip reports. We're Corbu. This is our new thing. Thank you so much. Thank you so much to MidWay Music Festival for allowing us to do this. We've been wanting to do this forever, and this is our first opportunity to do it. And we're very thankful for MidWay for giving us this platform. So we're going to continue to do this on our own forever. So come to our Twitch at Corbu Vision and come see us do some more weird shit.
Yeah, and tell us your trips.
Yeah, also, we'll post a link somewhere. Keep an eye on our socials. Send us your bad trips so we can read them, because it'll be fun.
It's important to share them with the world.
We won't tell your parents. It's fun.
So that people are less afraid to go through these things, because it's important.
Well,
They're
you know,
catalysts of growth and change.
I think you should be afraid. I think respect. I always thought that respect.
Fear is different than respect.
I think respect is a healthy version of fear. Like if you're going to go surfing and there's 10-foot waves, there's a little bit of fear that's helpful there, you know, but it doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. You should just be aware of what you're getting into. So it's that kind of thing.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Anyway, be safe. We're Corbu. See you soon.